There was AFR uproar in the kingdom as everyone gathered in the palace. People were murmuring and laying complaint as the guards did their best to stop them from entering the palace. "The king has brought a curse upon us. How are we going to survive this?" one of the commoners said with disgust written over his face. "Let him show himself and proffer a solution to the matter on ground." "Another," a woman said, carrying her baby in her hands. The priest, Louis, walked over to them as he stood in front of them to address them. "People of Havilla Kingdom, it is with a sad heart have come to address to you that the Guardians has placed a curse on this land, and until we can do what the Guardians say, we will continue to live in this predicament." "To hell with you and the Guardians," the king retorted as he came out to meet the people with the prince and his mother beside him. "Guards," he called. Kim rushed to his side with one knee on the ground. "Yes, your majesty. What did I tell you about letting this lunatic into my palace?" Before Kim could explain, King Gardiel slapped him on his face, but Kim stood firm as he endured the pain. "I am sorry, your majesty." Just as Kim was about to lay his hands on the priest, there was shaking in the palace as a bright light shone down from the sky. The light was so bright that it illuminated the palace. Everyone took cover. Some had to hide in the garden while others hid behind themselves. "They are here," the priest said as he bowed down before the guardians. King Gardiel looked at the priest with disgust before turning his attention back to whoever it was. "Who are you? Show yourself," he ordered. "As the king of this kingdom, I come." "Who giveth thou the permission to command?" the voice asked suddenly. The light gathered together in a tornado, and figures could be seen. They were so beautiful that everyone who saw their faces awed at their beauty. They looked so much alike that the only thing that could differentiate them were the title written on their robes. "Who are you to use the authority we gave you at us?" the same voice asked again. This was the Guardian of Thunder, and immediately he asked that question. Thunder struck, burning down the tree that was next to the palace. Everyone scurried in fear. "Be you god or man, I do not fear you." The king answered them. A burst of laughter erupted from the Guardians, and the Guardian of Nature said, "You do not fear us, but you will fear this." His eyes suddenly turned white, and every green trees that bear fruit began to die. The people begged that the Guardians should have mercy, and the Guardian of Nature listened, and he stopped. The king laughed and said, "If you think such magic trick would make me fall, you are going to have to do better than that." The Guardian of Water did his part by turning all the water in the kingdom to blood. Within that few seconds, people rushed in from different parts of the kingdom to complain that the rivers had turned to blood, and all the fishes in the river died. There was an outburst of tears as the people wailed, "You have offended the heavens, shed innocent bloods, and have brought this destruction upon your kingdom. Because of this deed, your kingdom shall be darkened." And immediately the Guardian of Light caused the sun to go down, and everywhere became darkened. The only thing that was giving light were the lights emitting from the Guardian's body. "Sickness and deaths shall never leave your kingdom." The Guardian of Light was about to go further when Queen Elise got on her knees with tears in her eyes and pleaded to the Guardians. "Please, Guardians of Havilla, the curses are more than we can bear. Please." The king interrupted her and pulled her up. "Kim, take the queen and the prince into the palace." Kim did as he was ordered, even though the prince and the queen was reluctant to leave. "This is my kingdom, and as far as I am concerned, you don't rule. I do." The Guardian of Health walked up to the king, and without touching the king, his body started having boils. From the crown of his head to the sole of his feet were covered in boils. King Gardiel shivered in fear. "You have underestimated the power of the heavens and have used your authority to satisfy your wicked ways, and because of that, your kingdom shall be given to another." The Guardian of Authority decreed, "Let me go." the prince shouted as Kim tried effortlessly to hold him back. Lucas, who was in the garden, rushed to meet the prince and fought with Kim while the prince ran to meet the guardians. He got down on his knees and said, "Guardians of Havilla, you can cause other things to happen to us, but please do not give our kingdom to another." The guardians looked at one another before looking at the prince. It was like they could see something different about the prince, and immediately the guardian of light said, "The kingdom shall be given to you, but other curses will remain until a supernatural being is brought to this kingdom. There's no more of them left. My father killed them all." Wrong. The guardian of health cuts in. "There is one left, one that comes from the guardian of the heavens. She will reverse the curse." "She?" the commoners asked. "I killed every supernatural beings in this kingdom you won't find." "Silence," the guardian of authority commanded, and King Gardiel lost his voice. "You shall remain mute for the rest of your life." Prince Edward couldn't stop the tears that rolled down his cheeks as he watched his father in pain. "Kim, can you please take my father inside?" "As you wished, Your Highness." Kim went to meet King Gardiel, but he protested while trying to voice out, but nothing could be heard. Annoyed at the fact that his father was still there, the prince turned and said, "If you have to bind him hands and feet or bundle him up like a present, then do so. It's an order." Everyone was shocked. "He is as heartless as they say," some commoners murmured. Kim carried the king in bridal style and went into the palace. Just as the prince was about to focus his attention back on the guardians, he caught a glance at Lucas, who was watching him in amusement. He has never seen the prince so angry. The prince turned to face the guardians. "How do we find her?" "She doesn't stay in this world. There is a different world, and you will need someone who can create a portal to go there." "Don't understand. My father called every supernatural beings. How am I supposed to look for—" "I can create a portal." The prince turned only to find Lucas standing beside him. "What?" the prince asked in shock. "I can create a portal. Am a supernatural being, Your Highness." The prince was lost for words that all he could do was stare at Lucas.